Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mrs. Danowski's review of Chapter 6, To Kill a Mockingbird, in 10 minutes or less. So let's see how we can do today. Quick reminder, at the end of Chapter 5, Atticus catches the kids trying to communicate with Boo Radley, and he definitely was not happy. He warns the kids they need to stop, and he views what they're doing to him as torture. Basically, as torture. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something and tell you one time. Stop tormenting that man. That goes for the other two of you. So keep that in mind as we continue to move forward with Chapter 6. So think about the night before you go back to school, the night before you leave camp, the night before. Usually is a really big night for a lot of people. And Chapter 6 is the night before Dill is going back home, which means they won't see him for an entire school year. So there's a lot of things they might want to get done. And one of those things is to try to see Boo Radley. So the boys basically don't want to come right out and tell Scout what they're doing because she knows that they are going to disapprove. So they're acting very, very nonchalant about what is going on. And Scout tries to bring it up. You don't have to go. Remember? Now, when she says remember, she wants her brother to remember what Atticus said about tormenting Tom Robinson. So the idea is that Dill and Jem are simply going to peep in the window with the loose shutter to see if they could get a look at Boo Radley. And if I didn't want to go with them, I could go straight home and keep my fat, flopping mouth shut. That was all. So that's their plan. They're going to try to see Boo Radley one more time. There's a line in here I love from Jem. Scout, I'm telling you for the last time, shut your trap or go home. I declare to the Lord, you're getting more like a girl every day. All right, everybody think about it. What literary technique is Harper Lee using? Jem is talking to his sister. Everybody got it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have it? Okay, verbal irony, because he is talking to a girl. So they are going to try to get into the Bradley backyard, and they're going to go through the garden. Now, if you didn't understand some of the references, I'm going to explain it to you. They need to be really, really quiet. They are going to be going through the collards. Now, collards are like big, big leafy vegetables. Think of kale. So they have to be quiet because if you brush against them, they're going to make a lot of noise. Also, when you come to the gate, it makes noise. So they're all spitting on it. Okay, spit, 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 spit. Basically, it's like a WD-40, a lubrication there. Open the gate without any noise. They describe it as the back of the Radley house was less inviting than the front. A ramshackle porch ran with width of the house. There were 2 doors and 2 dark windows between the doors. Instead of a column, a rough 2x4 supported one end of the roof. An old Franklin stove sat in the corner of the porch. Above it, a hat rack mirror caught the moon and shone eerily. So remember, there is a porch. So they're trying to get through, and Jem is looking through the window while Dill and Scout are watching him. And all of a sudden, they step on the porch, and there's noise. There's definitely noise. As quiet as they were with the collards, with the gate. When he steps on the porch, there is noise. Okay, let's start thinking about the foreshadowing. Okay, it's like when my daughter used to try to sneak in late at night. Our back door squeaks, and I wanted to take care of that squeak, and my husband said no, because this way he knows when Melissa is actually getting home from the squeak of the door. Little details to pay attention to. Now, something happens that really, really, really scares them. They have it. Pay attention. So here we go. Then I saw the shadow. It was the shadow of a man with a hat on. At first I thought it was a tree, but there was no wind blowing, and tree trunks never walked. The back porch was bathed in moonlight, and the shadow, crisp as toast, moved across the porch toward Jem. Dill saw it next. He put his hands to his face. When it crossed Jem, Jem saw it. He put his arms over his head and went rigid. The shadow stopped about a foot beyond Jem. Its arm came out from its side, dropped, and was still. Then it turned and moved back across Jem, walked along the porch and off the side of the house, returning as it had come. Jem leaped off the porch and galloped toward us. He flung open the gate, danced Dill and me and shoot us between two rows of swishing colliers. Halfway through the colliers, I tripped. As I tripped, the roar of a shotgun shattered the neighborhood. Okay, now let's think about it, because one of my questions always is, who was on the back porch? And most kids say it was Nathan. Okay, think about it. If Nathan Rowley was on the back porch, wouldn't he have said something? Wouldn't he have yelled at the kids for being back there? So your inference skills hopefully told you it wasn't Nathan, it was Arthur, also known as Boo. Okay, put his hand out, doesn't say anything. It is Boo. But the kids panicked, and they are making so much noise getting out of there. Noise on the porch, noise in the garden, noise, noise, noise. That is what brings out Nathan with the shotgun. Now, I want you to think about this too. Why would Nathan come out with a shotgun? Well, what time period are we in? We're in the Great Depression. People are hungry, and theft is a problem. So he assumes that somebody is in his garden stealing vegetables. So he shoots in the air that first time. Okay, keep that in mind, that first time. Now the kids realize that there is a problem here, and as they're rushing out, Scout and Dill are ahead of Jem. They realize he's not with them. They go back to find him, and his pants caught on the fence. So he takes them out off to get to the front of the house. Because remember, these kids are curious, and if they hear a shotgun, they're going to want to know what's going on. So there is a problem because Jem's standing there and without his pants. We find out that Mr. Bradley used his gun. Look at the example of ignorance and prejudice that Harper Lee puts into the book. What happened? Asked Jem. Mr. Radley shot a Negro in his collar patch. Oh, did he hit him? No, said Miss Stephanie. Shot in the air. Scared and pale, though. Says if anybody sees a white nigger around, that's the one. Says he's got the other barrel waiting for the next sound he hears in that patch, and next time he won't aim so high. Be it dog, nigger, or Jem Finch. Okay. She's not saying it could be Jem Finch in the garden. This is when she realizes he has no pants on. Okay. They ask him about his pants, and he lies. Now, we've talked about, or I've tried to talk about, there's been a lot of lies in this book, tiny little lies, lies that aren't going to hurt anybody. Pay attention as the book goes on to the use of lies. Are they used to protect yourselves? Are they used to protect another character? Are they dangerous lies? Are they detrimental lies? So pay attention to the lies. I'm going to go over my 10 minutes, but I'm going to keep going. So here we are. They lied and said they were playing strip poker. Now, you might not realize why that was such a big deal, gambling, strip poker. But in this time period, these are very, very Christian people, Baptist, Southern Baptist. So playing cards was a sin. Okay. For some of the religions, anything that gave pleasure was a sin. So drinking, playing cards, reading books that were, quote, not appropriate was a sin. So people are not too happy to see that the boys and Scout may have been playing cards, and then they lie again and say they were playing for matches. So it looks like the night is over, but we know it's not because Jem still needs to figure out how to get his pants back before the next morning Mr. Bradley goes outside into the garden and finds Jem's pants. And then he'll know the truth, and Jem will get in trouble. So here we go. Ignorance, pride, these are all themes that are in the book. So I need to go back to ignorance. You cannot scare a black person white. Okay? If anybody sees a white nigger, that's the person that was in the garden. Well, that's impossible. So Mr. Radley assumed it was a black person in his garden. They think you can scare a black person white. Okay? Ignorance, prejudice. You have the kids lying to protect themselves, and you have this issue of Dill's pride. So he goes back for his pants, even though Mr. Radley has threatened not to shoot in the air the next time anybody's in his garden. And this scares Scout. She only has one brother, and she doesn't want him getting killed, for goodness sakes. So she also says that she realizes things are starting to get in between her and it was then, I suppose, that Jem and I first began to part company. Sometimes I did not understand him, but my periods of bewilderment were short-lived. This was beyond me. Please, I pleaded, can't you just think about it for a minute by yourself on that place? And he tells her to shut up. So he's not concerned about her. He goes, he gets his pants, he comes back. They're afraid that Atticus is going to check on him. Doesn't. But here's the last couple lines of chapter 6 on this. And there he was, returning to me. His white shirt bobbed over the back fence and slowly grew larger. He came up the back steps, latched the door behind him, and sat on his cot. Wordlessly, he held up his pants. He lay down, and for a while I heard his cot trembling. Soon he was still, and I did not hear him stir again. So we are going to find out why his cot is trembling. So, okay, nervous, afraid, I'm going to get shot. I didn't. But if you actually read all the chapters, then you know another reason why Jem is trembling when he comes back. So I got to 12:42. Next time I'll try to keep it 10 minutes. Stay tuned and talk to you soon, guys.